manufacturing, and retail. The brand ensures consistent quality, better pricing, and full transparency. The brand offers a wide range of over 250 designs, including rings, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, solitaires, perfectly for both daily wear and the special occasion. 3C and Company is now offering franchise opportunity for investors through FOCO model, franchise-owned company operated, where the company will manage the operation, allowing partners to benefit from a low risk, high end, high, uh, high income, from that business. To talk more about this, I'm joined with the founder himself. We have Rachit Poddar, who's going to help us understand more about the business, the opportunity. Um, but meanwhile, let me also, would like to inform all the viewers who have joined so far that it is a good opportunity to connect with the founder himself, right? It's good to have him here today. So that, I mean, in case if you have any question related to, the brand, the business, I mean, you can, put it in the Q&A and the chat box. So on your screen, on your mobile screen, if you've joined through mobile, you have the Q&A and the chat box. You can put your queries there and we will take them up once the presentation is over. Now, I would like to welcome Rachit ji to this webinar. Let's get started with your little bit of introduction, how you get into this business, how has been the journey so far, and the way forward plannings.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, dear Bharat Bhai, for a humble and warm introduction. Welcome to all my dear colleagues, for joining this call and taking out the time to hear about the opportunity. We've been very, very passionate about jewelry for the past few decades. In fact, coming from Surat, which is essentially the diamond city and the textile city of India, by naturally we were exposed to jewelry very early on and diamonds very early on. In fact, my partners, to give you a little bit background about myself, I am Rachit Pudar from Surat. We are essentially into venture capital as well, apart from jewelry. Invested in over 80 plus startups across sectors, across stages, across India, right? So, having being exposed to so many growth stage startups across sectors, we realized, there's a huge potential in the jewelry sector, considering that lab grown has been taking over the industry as not just a substitute alternative, but it's now more becoming like a transformational alternative, right? Because historically, if you think about it, lab grown had been introduced back in the 1900s by the same miners, same mining companies who introduced mine diamonds, right? So I think lab grown is not a new technology. I think although a lot of people have a myth that lab grown is something very new to this industry, but to break down few myths about lab grown, I think I'll just start the presentation as well. Yes.
Right. Let's get started with the presentation.
I hope my screen's visible.
Yeah, visible.
Perfect. Yeah. So coming back to the lab grown point, like I mentioned, it had been introduced back in the history where they wanted to discover a scalable way to actually produce diamonds, right? So whatever conditions are there under the earth, the temperature, the heat, the density, all of these formulas or recipes were, formulated into a machine which was produced now the same diamond, literally the same output, exactly identical, exactly same durable, with all the same chemical properties. They introduced this in the laboratory and made it a more scalable way to produce diamonds. In fact, interestingly, in the Western economies, more than 55 to 60% of the economy has been taken over by the lab-grown diamonds. So I think this is not a new alternative or not a substitute. I think it is more a transformational, product in the same diamond industry. So to give you a little background about 3C's and Company, how did we start this? Basically, my partners, Mr. Priyank Gurnani and Miss Sapna Gurnani, they have been in the jewelry business for the past 2000 since 2009. Sapna auntie, who's a jewelry designer, passionate jewelry designer by herself, who's been already supplying to Pan India, who's had exhibitions across India, who has a strong clientele in Indonesia, in Middle East. That's where the whole vision formed. But predominantly, she was into natural diamonds. But what happened over the period? Most of our clients, in fact, more than 70% of our clientele, they were seeking to go into lab-grown diamonds because of the value, the value proposition that lab diamonds offer. So I think a couple of years ago, we all three of us came together and said, let us build a brand that is actually only focused on lab grown, because consumers also have a lot of trust issues. When they're selling natural, they might sell you lab, and vice versa. But I think we wanted to really create a pure play brand which is completely focused on lab growns, and hence 3C's and company was born. uh, Given their background since 2009, they have already strong ties with the bullions who supply gold. They have strong supply, connections with the carigars, the manufacturers, the diamond traders. So essentially, because of their experience and their connect with the whole stakeholder ecosystem, we're able to actually source some of the best diamonds. Most of the solitaires that we use at our store, at our brand, is all IGI certified solitaires. So I think we've made that very clear from day one that we're going to only be using the highest grade of diamonds while making jewelry. So this is how 3 C's and Company was born. The definition for 3 C's and Co. Why 3 C's and Company? Why the name 3 C's and Company? Because essentially, diamond has 4 C's. Which is cut, color, clarity, and carat. Carat is obviously the weight, but what the quality parameters of diamonds are: cut, color, clarity. So these are the 3 C's that are very imperative for diamonds. These 3 C's have been defined by GIA and IGI, which certify natural diamonds as well, and which certify lab grown diamonds as well. So I think another myth that I would like to break is obviously artificial diamonds are completely something else. So lab grown diamonds can never be classified as a artificial diamonds, because ADs and mosonites, they're a completely different segment. Whereas lab grown diamonds and natural diamonds, it's this the process of growth is completely different, but the output is exactly the same, and the certifications are also the same, which is IGI or GIA or SGL. So coming to the next point, like I mentioned, these are the 3 C's. So all of the diamonds that we use at 3 C's and Company is all VVS EF color. So I think that is pretty standard, and I think because of the cost effectiveness of lab grown diamonds, I think it is most of the brands are supposed to actually only use the highest grade of diamonds, right? Because whereas on the natural diamond side, if you go to big corporates, if you go to many jewelers, they will probably sell you IJ colors or lower grades in diamonds. So I think with lab grown, that is the biggest advantage, that you only use the top shade of diamonds. So, like I said, we've been backed by 15 years of expertise in jewelry design and manufacturing. So I think that makes us a very design first brand. So I think to compare with other brands, I think majority of the top corporates, I think they're still playing on very minimal designs, but with very high pricing, because I think that is their sort of thesis. But I think we as a brand, we want to become a design first brand, and we want to really focus on customization, on provide the best top-notch designer products. Lab-grown diamonds, like I mentioned, it's basically grown from a diamond seed with the same temperature, density, all of that, those factors that actually produce these diamonds in the lab. And Surat being, because we are from Surat, and Surat being the largest hub for diamonds. In fact, not just for natural diamonds. Obviously, I'm sure all of 98% of the world's diamonds are cut and polished in the city Surat, right? Of the natural diamonds. And I think similarly for lab-grown diamonds, more than 90% of lab-grown diamonds are grown in Surat. So I think that is the biggest advantage that we have, the cost advantage that nobody else, no other city can beat us with that, because we know where the strongest sourcing comes from and the highest quality of sourcing comes from. The advantage, like I mentioned in my earlier slides, designing Sapna Auntie herself as a designer since the past 15 years, which really allows us to create some unique designs. I think, that is the biggest advantage. Sourcing, obviously, carigars, and we're currently working with more than 5 factories across Surat, which helps us produce some of the best jewelry. And yeah, so next, like Bharat Bhai mentioned, we have all product categories in our store. We've got rings, we've got earrings, we've got necklaces, we've got bracelets, we've got solitaires, we've also got brooches. In fact, very recently, we've introduced watches as well. So essentially, any watch can be studded with diamonds, I think, with lab grown diamonds. And because of the cost advantage of lab grown diamonds, I think it is very viable for people to actually get diamond studded on their watches as well. So I think these are the few product categories that we have. As of now, we anyway at any given point in time, we would roughly have about 200 to 250 SKUs at our store across all these product ranges. The minimum product range, I think, and just to clarify again, all of this product essentially, I'm sure the base for jewelry, a lot of new bases have come. The people are doing lab grown diamonds with silver as well, and with many other elements. But I think for us, we've been very clear from day one that we only want to make jewelry in gold, that is either 14 karat gold or 18 karat gold, because I think gold historically has been an asset, and has been an appreciating asset, and I think it will always remain so despite of the volatility in the recent future. But I think gold as a so essentially the same gold, right? And the natural diamonds is the same gold, and then the lab grown diamonds is the same gold. So I think gold component will always be there. So I think all of our jewelry is in all fine jewelry is in gold. Coming to next point, I think, yeah, so just to add one more point here, I think the minimum product range starts from anywhere from 25,000 rupees, where you can have lightweight pendants or lightweight rings, and goes all the way to 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. I think there's no boundary in this. You can make very, very heavy bridal necklaces with lab grown diamonds, and in fact, to give you a price comparison now, I think that is very imperative. When people try to understand, what is the actually value difference between lab grown diamond and natural diamonds. So if I have to tell you, if you have to take smaller diamonds like 20 cents, 30 cents, then the price difference is 100% markup, right? So I think it's roughly, if I have to say you, if lab grown diamond would be roughly 25,000 rupees per carat, same thing in natural diamond would be roughly 50,000 per carat or 60,000 per carat in small diamonds, which is still a huge difference, but still a very marginal difference in compared to bigger solitaires. And now, if I have to talk about bigger solitaires, that's where the real pricing, value comes into effect. If you have to take 1 carat solitaire for lab grown, it will roughly be 25,000 rupees per carat. And similarly, if you have to take for a natural diamond, it would vary from roughly 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs to 4 lakhs, depending on GI, IGI certification, depending on the clarity, color. So I think that's where really the pricing shoots up to almost 10x, 10x, 15x, 20x. In fact, if you take a 2 carat solitaire in lab grown would be proportionately increased, right? By 25,000 to 50,000. It'll be 2 carat for 50,000 rupees. And similarly, in natural diamonds, it might go to 7 lakh rupees, 6 lakh rupees, 8 lakh rupees. And similarly, I think 3 carat, it might go in natural diamonds 10 lakh rupees plus. And similarly, just in lab grown, it might just be like 75,000 rupees for 3 carats, right? So I think that is really the biggest shift, when you can actually know world's best gemologist can identify with their naked eye, if not even with naked eye, even with a loop or microscope, they cannot identify if a lab grown diamond or natural diamond is different. They are exactly the same. Only the only way to identify a lab grown or a natural is via certification, via jewelry certification, that is IGI or SGL, which are very top notch in the market. I think this is the certification. So all of our jewelry, in fact, we've from day one, we've ensured 100% of our jewelry are certified. So once the jewelry comes from the factory, it is first given for certification, and then all of our customers are assured with 100% certification, 100% real diamond and jewelry. So obviously, we understand the crux of distribution, how important it is to have creators on board, because, personal brands have started actually leading brands. And I think more and more personal brands would be, we'll encourage to have more and more personal brands at our brands to take the distribution to another heights. I think first brand ambassador for this brand is Ishita Raj, who's a Bollywood celebrity, who was also featured in very prominent films like Pyar Ka Panchnama 1, Pyar Ka Panchnama 2, and so on. So I think she really brings the element of jewelry, the luxury that we want to create, because our vision is to create an aspirational luxury brand which does not break your bank, right? Because I think in earlier generation, luxury was defined as or was equal to expensive, but I think aspirational or new age luxury is becoming more value driven, more value consciousness. So I think it is luxury is equal to consciousness, or value buying, I would say. So, like Bharat Bhai mentioned, it's a franchisee owned company operated model that we're looking at, because we understand, operations of any jewelry brands has to be standard across all the stores. So I think franchisee owned is basically, we're looking for investors who really passionate about jewelry, and who really believe in the idea of lab grown, based on all the data, facts, history. So I think, and in terms of operational excellence, what we are looking to support, how are we looking to support our investors is complete end to end support. So right from inventory manufacturing to inventory support to inventory rotation to SOPs to the software that will be implemented in the store to running ads, to collaborating with influencers in marketing, to doing local, events every couple of months, to the interior designing of the store. Because obviously, we before we started this brand, we visited almost 50 stores across India. So be it in Bombay, Bangalore, Surat, we visited so many jewelry stores, and we realized either there are two kinds of stores. One is, which is a very top notch natural jewelry diamond store, which is obviously highly furnished. And then there is lab grown. Majority of the lab grown brands, they are very very minimal in furniture or minimal in their interiors, because they don't have probably, they've not they don't see this as a luxury product. They still see it as a very inexpensive product. So I think that is where we would like to change the narrative. And we visited so many stores and designed our store in a way that looks very, gives you a very elegant feel, gives you a very luxury feel, despite of having such low prices in the products. So I think the whole interiors would be taken care of by us. Like I said, technology, brand equity. Again, obviously, we'll be collaborating with so many influencers, celebrities. So I think that is, given our background in events, we also host one of India's largest startup summits in Surat every year, and we've been hosting this event for the past 4 years. Every year, we have about 8 to 10,000 people attending the event. We've had some amazing influencers and celebrities attending the event, like people from Boat, Aman Gupta from Shark Tank, Anupam Mittal, Ghazal Alag, Azhar Iqbal, influencers like Raj Shamani, Neha Dhupia celebrity, Radhika Madan, Sonal Chauhan. So I think we really have the kind of network to be able to get in few more celebrities. To give you a brief about the investment snapshot, more or less the investment is roughly about 3 crores, which includes everything end to end. So, roughly 2.3 crores worth of inventory. Obviously, given our background in jewelry or, manufacturing, we'll obviously be delighted to help our investor partners with an additional inventory of approximately 70 lakh rupees. So I think we would roughly have about 3 crores worth of inventory in the store at any given point in time. As soon as one product is sold, we'll make sure that another product has been refilled in the store. Store setup, would roughly be around 60 lakh rupees, which includes all the design elements and architectures, fees for engineers and everything, and franchisee fee is roughly 10 lakh rupees. So these is roughly the investment snapshot. And now, because since I mentioned it's a company owned, franchisee owned, company operated model, franchisee just has to make this one time investment of 3 crores. And then from there on, the brand, which is us, will be taking care of all the operational expenditure like salaries or marketing expenses. How the partners, investors would benefit from this. Roughly, if I have to say, at any given point in time, the store would have roughly 3 crores to 3 crores of inventory, which is spread across probably 600 to 700 square feet of carpet area. For that, if I have to assume on a conservative basis and an optimistic basis, conservative basis, I think we can anywhere do approximately 5 crores of revenue per annum. And on an optimistic note, we can go roughly to 7 8 crores as well per annum on the revenue side. So I think up to 40 lakh rupees, what we will be giving is 10% margin to the directly on the revenue. So let's say whatever 40 lakh rupees per month comes as a revenue to the company, 4 lakh rupees has gone to the partner as from the revenue share. And similarly, when you increase the revenues from 40 lakhs to 75 lakh rupees, it will be 12%, and about 75 lakh rupees will be 14%. But at any given point in time, because it's obviously a business, it's a, any businesses have the risk, downside as well. So if I have to talk about the downside, we'll obviously be assuring all our investors with 9% minimum guarantee. I think that is given. And I think just to add one more point here, how jewelry business is one of the less riskiest business is because obviously, like I mentioned earlier, it's backed by gold, right? So in any case, over the period of at least 2 years, gold will definitely appreciate in its value. So I think they will not lose out. And even if, let's example, the store does not do well, we are happy to buy back the entire inventory. So I think, sorry, I'm not able to change to the next slide. So here, like I mentioned in my previous slide, investors do not have to, really get into the operations of the company. They can be more like investors, and obviously we can work with them on multiple synergies on how do we create more stores with them, how do we, benefit them from our online store, which will be launching soon. So I think these are, all the ways how we would be working with our investors, because we believe all any business is a relationship driven business, right? It cannot just be, a pure play commercial transaction. I think it has to be a more like a partnership structure where we both collectively will be working on, how to ensure to make it bigger. So yeah, I would love to invite all the investors here to join us, join hands with us, to create 3C's and company in their respective city, using the advantage of our 15 years of legacy of manufacturing and designing, and the Surat advantage of the world's diamond hub that we have. Thank you very much. Looking forward to any questions that you might
Thanks a lot, Rachit. We have received a few couple of questions in the chat box. If you would like to take them up.
have. Mhm.
Uh, Vedant is asking, there is a trust factor and acceptance in mass. How will you handle it? What is the growth trend as compared to US market?
So
Also,
I
we have
think,
some, uh, you know, uh, objection related to guaranteed return, I guess, GR.
I think this is more towards, is it more towards lab grown trust? How do we,
I think yes.
customers trust? Yeah, yeah. So I think
Right.
one more thing, like I mentioned, in the US economy, 55 to 60% is already taken over by lab grown, right? Because they people there already have huge awareness. But whereas in India, why the awareness is still low, but it's growing at a magnificent or, a significant scale. It's because Indians are a little emotional driven, right? And they're more, when they want to buy the first piece of jewelry, they would probably aspire to buy a natural diamond jewelry. But I think that trend is slowly changing. In fact, if you look at the lab grown diamond stats, it's growing over 25% compounded annual growth, right? So I think that is one of the highest growth rate products in any industry, in any luxury sector. So I think the CAGR rate for lab grown is very high. Second, the trust factor, when they actually, the kind of awareness that everybody is doing collectively, the whole industry is doing to promote lab grown, I think that will really help. Second and foremost, I think the most important thing is the certification. We as a brand have to ensure that 100% of our jewelry has been certified by SGL or IGI, so that it's everything is clearly mentioned that this is, the jewelry piece that is 100% real, 100% lab grown, with the highest grade VVS EF color, with gold in it, 14 karat, 18 karat gold. So I think certification really plays a big role here.
Right. And also, I mean, in case if you look into the Indian market, I mean, we must accept that the natural diamond it still dominate the over. I mean, in the total value.
Right.
However, in case if you look into the lab-grown diamond, as you rightly said, that this is one of the fastest, growth it has seen in recent year. And I also believe that in coming days, coming years, this is gonna go up because of a lot of reason. Because the customer preferences are now shifting. Of course, natural diamond is something else. However, when it comes to comparison, technically, I mean both are the same. It
Right.
is just that one, it is a lab grown diamond. That's it.
Right.
So,
I think, in fact, Bharat Bhai, what has happened, especially what I am seeing from our clients or, from my circle,
mhm,
most of the upper class who are rich class have started buying both. People who have disposal incomes, they buy natural diamonds also, and they're buying a significant portion of their jewelry in lab grown, because they have more awareness on, actually, that it's exactly the same output, right? So I think in upper class and upper middle class, it has started really playing well, because obviously, the value difference that I earlier mentioned, if you talk about 2 carat solitaires or 3 carat single solitaires, I think the price difference is massive.
absolutely. No, 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 totally agree. I mean, I can see a lot of people using these jewelries for their daily purpose and the gifting. This is also considered as the fashion jewelry. Millennials and Gen Z are now looking for these kind of, the jewelry. It is also seen as the smart value-driven purchase, right? So that's the best part. So, I mean, India is now, I guess, shifting from investment buying to consumption buying, right? Uh, Natural diamond is an investment buying kind of thing, but I think people now want to wear the diamond And that's the reason why we can see a lot of rise in the overall demand. So it has now from investment buying to a consumption buying trend. Um, Pricing, as you said, that there is a massive difference between the lab grown and the natural. Um, how do you think also, I mean, you must have, analyzed the US market, right? Just to ask you, in case if you can help us understand how, if you will compare it with the US market, how, in terms of the trend.
I think one point, Bharat Bhai, that you mentioned, we are moving from an investment consumption to a consumption based more
Correct.
purchase, right? So I think earlier it was earlier back in, in the decade or so, natural diamond was considered to be an investment, right? But that is no longer the case. That is no longer, once the diamond, natural, any diamond is out of the store, it automatically loses minimum 20% of its value. So I think no more natural diamond is an asset class, which used to be the case. So I think that really has pivoted in a big way. So I think similarly, for if you take about natural diamonds or lab grown diamonds, most of the retailers would offer you only either 80% or 90% buyback on the diamonds. So anyway, 10-20% of value is already lost. So the real investment is there in both the kinds of jewelry, natural diamond as well, and lab grown diamond, which is the gold element of it. So I think gold will always remain an investment. So I think to answer your first point, why this is happening, but I think most of the consumers have realized this, that natural diamonds are no longer an investment. Whatever the investment is in gold. So I think that has also really played big role in pivoting the industry, or a lot of consumers to shift from natural diamonds to lab-grown diamonds.
Right. He also has some concern on the guaranteed return,
Hmm.
guaranteed, right? The minimum guarantee.
Right.
Uh, would you like to answer it right now, or may you would like to?
No, I think exactly, if you may define the question again. If
No, so I think he is expecting like it is 9%.
Okay, less. Oh, he says less minimum guarantee. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because we don't really believe in. I mean, it's a partnership, right? I mean, so obviously, no matter what the number of minimum guarantee is, I think the overall objective for both of us would be to achieve maximum number of revenues. So I think in any case, we would like to not play at the minimum guarantee. Rather, we would like to achieve at least 75 lakh rupees per annum per month on every store, right? So I think that is really the big target for us, and for that, whatever needed as company, as the investor, I think we'll go all out in terms of marketing to do that.
So Neeraja Shah is asking what percent of inventory is good and diamond. So I think gold diamond. I think he or she was asking. And what is the breakup? Yeah, if you can
So
just share.
yeah, so out of 3 crores, roughly, if I have to say, minimum 3 crores की inventory में 50% would be gold, which is almost 1.5 crore का gold, and remaining 1.5 crore का would be diamonds and making.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. Kindly advise on the refund policy at the end of the term or before term.
So I think whatever inventory is unsold, we'll be 100% will take that back. So there's no question on that, because obviously we want to make it as less risky for our investors as possible. And because, like I said, it's backed by gold. So I think, again, the risk factor is anyway very low. And we would like to minimize that completely for our investors by giving 100% refund on any inventory unsold.
Okay, the next question is what kind of jewelry mix do you plan to keep at the store? Gold, silver, and silver vermilion.
So, like I mentioned earlier in my previous slides, we would not like to do anything silver or silver feminine. I think the pure focus would be for us would be gold, because we believe any high jewelry brand or any luxury jewelry is purely from gold. It's all major jewelry brands across the world. If you see, they're only being supplied in gold, right? They don't do silver. So I think we do not want to enter that sector. Anyway, there are a lot of players who are playing out in silver. Silver, where the minimum average selling price of a product could start from 2, 3 thousand, 4,000 rupees to going all the way up. So I think we don't want to enter that category, because we want to make it an aspirational luxury brand.
All right, and the last question I can see the who owns the inventory in FOCO model and who GST will be used at sales counter. Good question.
So I think because obviously it's an 100% investment by the franchisee and the investor, the 100% inventory would be owned by the investor itself.
By the investor.
Yeah.
And the GST will be used at sales counter.
Yes, yes.
It's yours or the
That
investors?
that will be ours.
That will be yours, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Are you open for 100% FICO model where full amount is refundable?
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
Are you open for FICO model,
Mm-hmm.
100% FICO model, where
100%. So
full
franchisee
amount,
does not have to do anything. It's a franchisee
nothing at
investment.
all. You just have to get the money. That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Rest
absolutely. I think, like I mentioned, it's very imperative for us to be on the ground, to run the operations, to make sure everything is in place, to run the marketing campaign. So I think we would really, that is also one of the best case scenarios, as a brand for us, that we would just like to have an investor on board who really believes in the vision and who's passionate about jewelry. And I think we would love to do the entire operation end to end.
So you have any idea of like how much minimum guarantee you would provide in case of FICO? Is it
So
the same?
I think we can increase that to 10%, but I think, yeah, more or less the same.
All right, I think yeah, but that can be discussed later on also. I already have shared the number in the chat box. If anyone would like to get in touch with us, I understand there's the 30-40 minutes is not good enough to understand everything and get all your answers online.
In fact,
Uh,
Bharat bhai, just to sorry to interrupt you, but would love to invite any investor who's interested to actually come down to Surat first. When they meet the whole team, our partners, my partners, they see our flagship store because we've obviously built a flagship store in India in Surat, right? So I think if you take a view of the store, I think you will get a lot of questions answered. We'll show you the whole collection of our entire. We have a lot of pieces. In fact, because we are also into natural diamonds jewelry, right? So we have both different classifications, different stores, so we can show you all the collection, how what is the differences, price differences, everything can be answered. So I think we'd love to invite anybody to Surat who's interested to partner with us.
Right. No, that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, someone must visit to your store, existing store, and meet with all your team so that they can have better trust on the overall investment. By the way, like, what are the key drivers you have? Like, how much is the walk-ins, the online, the repeat customers? Like, if you could help us understand your existing
So I
business.
think because we're essentially based out of Surat, but like I mentioned, we've been supplying already pan India. We've already had exhibitions through a different brand name, which was predominantly focused on natural diamond jewelry. We've done exhibitions across India, so we're already supplying to customers pan India, be it Jaipur, be it Indore, be it Bombay, be it Haryana, be it Bangalore, and apart from that, we're already supplying to Middle East as well. So I think we also have a strong clientele in, obviously Indians living abroad, right? So I think we have a strong clientele there. In fact, earlier we had a very interesting client who was a Chinese Indo client, Indians living in China as well. So I think we have this is the base, but we can actually serve clients across India and globally.
Right. Does investor get gold incremental value at exit?
Yes, 100%, 100 and 1,000%, and that is very very clear from day one between us. If the investor is investing with us, whatever appreciation benefit he gets out of gold will be directly 100% passed on to him.
All right. And just to answer you, this is a FOCO model,
Yes.
franchise-owned company operated. And the best part is that you just don't have to get into the operational part. The rest of all operational part, execution will be taken care by the brand itself. You just need to come up with the initial investment, your involvement in a little bit of in the store infrastructures and everything, getting the inventory. That's it. Rest of all responsibility will be taken care by the brands.
In fact, Bharat bhai, if you don't mind, I would love to show you the video of our store as well. I think so
Yeah,
that
why not? Yeah, please
can get
engage.
an idea.
Yeah.
Just allow me 2 minutes, please.
Yeah. All right. You all can please stay for a minute.
I think it's taking a little long. I can share it across, later with you, and I think you can pass it on. It's just
You
downloading.
may send it to me on the group, and I'll try to play this from my side.
All right.
Apart from that, I mean, see, Rohit, Rachit, so we already have seen a number of brands, the competitors we already have in the market. Just to summarize, like, how would you differentiate yourself from the existing brands in terms of the quality, support, the buyback, as a franchisee also, and as a brand also. First of all, tell us, as a brand, what is your differentiator as compared to the existing brand, or the competitors you have?
So I think the biggest advantage or unfair advantage that we have is that we're from Surat, and which is the world's essentially the world's diamond hub. So I think the sourcing at the rates that we can get, nobody else can get it. In fact, if we've done a small competitor analysis, right? We've seen who are the players selling at what rates. People are actually selling out lab-grown diamonds at 60,000 rupees per carat, 50,000 rupees per carat, which does not make sense, right? I mean, when something is can be sold at a 25-30,000 rupees bracket, why do you sell it at 60,000 rupees, right? So I mean, companies who are out of Surat, they do not really have an advantage over sourcing. So I think that is where really we, obviously rest, whatever I might say, like I said earlier also, one is people are not really focusing on giving an experiential. They're not building experiential stores. It's like a very small store with just, one-person team, just managing. There's no experience or feel, right? But when you go to a jewelry store, you really need to feel like a VIP. So that is where we come in. We are designing our store in a way where we give you VIP feel, and at much more affordable rates. So I think if you have to go to any store, lab-grown diamond store in Bombay or Bangalore, you'll realize that they're selling at 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees per carat, which essentially for the same value, you can get a natural diamond, smaller diamonds, obviously not a solitaire, but you can get smaller diamonds. So I think that is the biggest advantage that we have.
Right, great. So I think we probably have answered almost all the questions.
I think I
That's
can
the
play the
last
video
question
as
I had.
well.
At what average rate do you sell or create? I know. I mean, at what average rate you sell a carat? Oh, all right. Yep.
Yeah, that is 25,000 to 35,000 rupees.
And what in case if it goes below that in coming years?
No, I think so. To answer your question in that, lab grown has already hit its record low. So I think, in terms of sourcing, diamonds have already reached to the bottom low. I think they'd already reached. So I think here, in fact, I see the prices only going up from here and now onwards. In fact, most of the corporates, they'll obviously by default increase their prices because they obviously have a lot of operational markups and everything, a lot of factors for their pricing strategy. But I think it's only going up from here onwards. I don't see it going down.
But this is a question. I mean, I have heard that it might go like 20 or maybe below that. I don't know. You never know the kind of the things we have been
I
seeing. I
mean,
mean,
essentially, only players who are selling at a huge markup might have to reduce the prices. But people who are already selling at a much lower rate, I think we'll not have to really revise on the pricing.
all right. Okay, great.
I think people who are selling at 60,000, they might have to come down to 50,000, 40,000 with discounts and all of that. But I think we're already at our bottom low.
Agree, agree. Right. So I think this was it for
I
today. Thank you
I
so
think I
much.
can play the video quickly if you don't mind. Bharat bhai. I think I have the video ready
Yeah,
with
if
me.
if you're able to play this right now, let's play that.
Uh,
This is your existing stores, right?
yeah, this is our existing flagship
Okay,
store.
good one. Right. Yeah. That was good. That was good. Good interior. Good,
Thank
the store design. Yep. So, everyone, in case if anyone would like to get in touch with us, I have already shared the number in the chat box. It is 9717683838, or you can also write to us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. That's how you can get in touch with us, and we will arrange further, the meeting with Rachit and team. And then, yep, you can decide. It's a great opportunity. It has a lot of future. I mean, We have seen this. Uh, yeah. So before we end this session, Rachit, anything you would like to, address to the audience? Like you would like to say anything to the audience as
I
I've
think
closed?
thank you so much everyone for taking out the time to hear about our vision and the opportunity here. Would really look forward to working closely with anyone who's really interested in building a brand in their own respective city. Because coming from Surat, it's obviously a lot of jewelry, a lot of diamonds. We've been seeing that, but I think there's still a huge opportunity across India. Outside of Surat, not a lot of people have got into lab grown. I think still at a very nascent stage, I would say. I think hardly few brands that you can count on your fingers, right, who are serving lab-grown diamonds. So I think it's really a big opportunity. It's still, we can get a first movers kind of an advantage, early movers advantage rather, I would say. So I think that is the biggest advantage that we can still get. And gold prices now being a little stable, I think it's a great time to enter before gold prices shoot up in the coming year or so.
Right.
Thank
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Rachit, for coming in today. Thanks, everyone, for joining this webinar. I really appreciate your time. So that's it for the day. Tomorrow, once again, we will come up with a new brand and we'll explore another business opportunity. Till then, take care. Have a nice day ahead.
you very much. Bye. Thank you.